Hello everyone, my name is Luna Spitfire and I'm a variety streamer on Twitch. Some people have expressed interest in videos showing how to edit the XML for the Twitch integration for 7 Days to Die. So in this video I will be showing an introduction on how to add in your own zombie spawns, especially group spawns of multiple zombies, and special spawns that you can do like that within the XML edits. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy the video, and let's get to editing some XML. In the last video, I showed you how to find where the Twitch XML files are located, but in this video, you're going to also need to have the game events file open. So the way that you do that is very similar. You're going to open up to wherever you have your Steam library located. Mine is on my E drive, but yours might be on your C drive or your D drive, whatever drive that you installed the game on. And you're going to go to your Steam apps, common, 7 Days to Die, data, config, and now you are going to find the game events file. You're going to click it, and then you're going to right click and edit with Notepad++. You should already have this downloaded if you followed the previous video. If not, go look at that video. I will link it down below. Open that up and it will look like this. You will also need the Twitch XML as well, so go ahead and do the same thing and open with Notepad. Now you should have both of those XMLs up here. And you're going to want to do this just like I explained in the previous video. You're going to want to do one change at a time and test each one out on the server before you make a new change. That way you know when there's a problem, what caused the problem. But now that you have both of those files open, we can get to editing the XML. Okay, so here we are in the Twitch XML. To start creating our own spawn. And the first one I want to show you is a simple spawn where I'm actually going to put in a spawn Grace. So the large Grace boss pig that's in the game. And this is a super fun one that people love to use. And I tend to make mine special points only just because it's super fun and exciting, but it's only one thing being spawned. So it's the easiest kind to show you first. Key thing to know whenever you're designing this in the Twitch XML, it doesn't really matter where it goes in the game events, but it does matter where it goes in the Twitch XML, because if you notice, the normal is first and then tough and then feral. So like as it goes down, this is the order that it will appear in the list online. So if you want your special actions to be like the first in the list of spawns, great, put it at the top. If you want it to be last, you want to go down until there's no more spawns. Okay, spawn wolf, dire wolf. Okay, so here where you see supply drops, if you want to make it after all the other spawns, you can then just add a couple spaces here and this can be yours. So for example, anything that has this particular code where it's oh god, I can't remember what this is called, but this symbol. Wow, brain. And then an exclamation and 2 dashes. You can type anything you want in here. And then as long as you end it with this, it's green. Anything in green is not active. It's most basically like a note. And so I can put in here all of my special spawns and they will appear after all the regular Twitch integration spawns. But if you want yours first, put them at the very top. So make sure you're putting them into the group too that they're grouped in. If you're making a supply drop or something like that, make sure you put it into the supply drops and things like that. But for this video, I'm showing you spawns. So that's why I'm showing you here. So for Grace, now I'm only showing you the Twitch XML first, and then we'll go into the game events. But basically what you need to do is you're going to copy most of these things from another location, and most of the time you can just kind of use that. However, there are pieces that you're going to want to borrow, and they are, I believe, at the top. So you can see some of the things that you can do, special only, things like that, that you're going to want to add in. So, but you can start by just copying a normal. Okay, so I have a spawn normal down here. Now this is not obviously what we want for spawn Grace. What we're going to want to do is we want the action name to be whatever we want it to be. Okay, I'm going to call it just Twitch Grace. So get rid of whatever that was, because if you have it as the same name, it will not work properly. It's just what we're calling this particular action type. Now the part that says command, this is what people are going to type in chat. So make sure it's what you want. I want it to be spawn Grace _ Grace, because it matches what the other ones look like. Title key. We'll just call it spawn Grace. So you're going to change these things. And category is going to still be under spawns because it's still under that spawn. So this is the category on the XML. I highly recommend keeping it organized like this in the same section with everything else, but you theoretically could put it like all on top, all drops and stuff like that, as long as you have the right category. But it's just easier if you sort yourself this way. Event name. So this is where you want to call it something different, because the event name is really important, because that's what's going to trigger the game event file to happen. So the Twitch XML is basically what you see on the screen and whether or not it shows up and how much it costs and the cooldown and all of that part for the integration. The game events is the part that makes the event happen. So you need both parts to match. This event name is going to basically trigger this game event to occur. So you need to make sure that's whatever it is you want. So default cost. So this is however much you want it to cost. And it's going to be $125 for me. I'm going to also make this special only. And the way that you would do is you're just going to go down and you're going to go property name equals special only. As you notice, these are here. They're here. So you can find them. They exist. And you can know what they are and how to make sure you spell them correctly and things like that. It's very important for that. The spacing does matter too. So do all of the quotation marks. So make sure you're being careful. Any of these things that are missed could trigger the item to not work when you're doing testing. So if you're coming up with errors, make sure you're checking that you have all of these pieces put in correctly. Special only true. And then backslash there. And the backslash basically says that we're starting this conversation about this particular property, and now we're done with that conversation. So if you notice, the action starts up here with action name, and we're going to be done with the action down here. So this is the entire action. So they use these commands to say that we're finished with that particular part. Okay, so we've got our special only description key. This part doesn't really matter. We can totally take that out. This was just for, I think, them, because we don't need that part to make it work. Add cooldown. Okay, so this is, do I want it to add to the cooldown? I do. So it's true, cooldown blocked. So during cooldowns, will it trigger? So I want that to be true. Waiting, I want it to be blocked. Perfect. Okay. Now, do I want it to have a cooldown of its own? I don't want people to be able to spawn like 30 of these and spam it. So yeah, I want a cooldown of its own. It's wrong symbol. And so we're going to do cooldown. Oops, cooldown. And you're going to do value. And so however many seconds you want the cooldown to be. And I'm going to do 60 seconds. So I have a minute before I get another one. You can make this whatever you want. And now I'm done with that part. Okay. I'm going back and making sure I'm checking mine that I've done, because I've tested mine out. So we also don't need this part. It doesn't matter. Ah, the part that I missed. I was like, I know I'm missing something. What is it? Property name. And we want this one to be start game stage. So I don't want people to be able to spawn Grace at game stage 1. If you don't have this, they'll be able to spawn that thing whenever they want to. It'll be game stage 1. So I want it to be, let's say, game stage 70. Okay, so I'm going to pop that in there. There we go. This should be everything. So before I go too far, we're going to go to our plugins. I'm going to check the XML. There's no error detected, which means that the coding itself looks good. That doesn't mean it's going to work in the game, but the coding itself looks good. All right, so then we're going to go into the game events. And same kind of idea. You want to sort your game events. It doesn't really matter where the game events go as much as it does for the Twitch XML, because Twitch XML, it goes in the order that they see it. But the game events, it helps to organize yourself. So whatever organization you want to do is fine. You can do it all at the top if you really want to, but you know, that's up to you. And then, so you're going for this one, you're going to do action sequence. So you can kind of take from them, action sequence name. I tend to copy paste, guys. This is the easiest thing to do. Make sure you have the end sequence. So here's where it's ending, \action sequence, like this, the whole piece, just like this. So we have the start of the action and the end of the action. Copy the whole thing. Okay, now we're changing this to be our own. Now, action sequence name. This needs to be what you named it before. Spawn Grace. So whatever you named it in Twitch as the event name needs to go there, because otherwise it won't know how to find that particular action and nothing will happen when people type that in. Okay, so the action class type is a spawn entity, which is totally true. Okay, now this is where it changes. Property name, entity names. So this one's a spawn normal, so it lists all the possible ones that it could spawn. We don't want all of those. We want a specific thing. We want the animal, boss, Grace. And I'm going to be posting a bunch of different codes that you guys can use that are the names of different animals and spawns and things like that, so that you know what they're called. And there's that. Now, play sound. Twitch bad spawn, sure, we'll keep that. It's a bad spawn, so we'll keep the sound. The other sound is, this one's a male alert for a zombie, and we don't want it to sound like a male zombie. That's not quite right. Let's do the boar alert, okay? Because that already exists from spawn boar, and we'll just pop that in. And that way it sounds like a boar, but at least it's close to what we're looking for. And we would be done. We would test the plugin. Looks good. And then we would go test it in the game. So as soon as you're done testing it in the game, as long as everything works and you don't need to go back and double check that you have absolutely everything in here correctly, then it should be absolutely fine. I know this one works because I've used this particular one myself, and I'm going to be listing a whole bunch that I've also personally used, but this is one that I know definitely works. Okay, the next one that I'm going to show you is we're going to start with making just multiple zombies, because I know a lot of people want to do like zombie hordes. And the first one that I ever did was a spawn 5 normal zombies. So I'm going to show you that one. And you can make that 10, 15, whatever you want. It really doesn't matter. It's very easy to change that. It's just normal. You can also do 5 ferals, 5, you know, whatever kind of zombies you want, you can do that. If you want to have them all be the same, you can choose that, and I'll show you how. If you want them to all be different, I can show you how to do that too. If you want it to be 5 specific zombies, you can list that, but this one's going to do 5 kind of random zombies, 5 random normals. Is the one I'm going to actually show you right this second, but I will show you other ones later. So first I just copied the spawn normal zombie again, and now we're going to edit it. The command value, I want this one for the command to be just spawn 5. So I made that. Command key, we don't need a command key, so I'm going to delete that. And then title key. This is just the title of it. Small horde, sure. And then category spawns, that's correct. Event name spawn. standard. And so this one's kind of already exists for the spawn normal. So I'm just going to call it spawn standard 5. That's a lot of S's. Wow. Okay. Default cost. I want this to be obviously more than a normal. I'm going to make this 125. Because that's basically the same cost, right? 5 normals. So somebody doesn't have to spam this. They can just make 5 happen. Okay. And then let's see, description key. I'm going to have, you could just do description. Doesn't need to be key. Same with title. Okay. And let's do spawns 5 normal zombies. This kind of just tells you what it's doing. Adds to cooldown. Yep, cooldown blocked, waiting blocked, perfect. All right, I want to also have a start game stage. So I don't want people to be able to do this on stage 1. Start game stage. Value equals game stage maybe 10. We'll be ready for something like this. That's kind of where I keep mine. And then here we go. Now we ended that particular action. Oops, I don't have a quote. See how that doesn't look quite right? It's in red and it's not supposed to be. It would have told me there was an error too. Okay, there we go. And I want to make sure I have everything else I want in here. We have a command, we have a title, we have a category, event name, start game stage, a default cost, a description. Have a cooldown. Ah, no, we don't. We don't have a cooldown. We need a cooldown on this one because just because the normal zombie doesn't have a cooldown, people can spam it. I don't really want people to spam this one. If you do want them to spam it, go for it. Don't have a cooldown, but that's totally up to you. So we're going to do cooldown and value. We want that to be how many ever seconds you want. Let's do 300 seconds. That's 5 minutes. And then backslash. There we go. Now we're done with that. Cooldown adds to the cooldown, cooldown blocked, and waiting blocked. Perfect. This Twitch integration's all set to go. We're going to go to the game events now. I'm going to copy and paste the spawn standard as well. All right, so we have a new spawn standard, and we called this spawn standard 5, so I'm going to just change that real quick. I'm actually going to keep these because I'm going to take these same zombies, but I'm going to add to them. Okay, so the thing I'm going to add here, so this ends this particular part of the action, and I'm going to do something else. We're going to do property name equals spawn count. So this tells you how many it's going to spawn, and I want it to spawn 5. Oops, I didn't put it in quotes. Again, it turned red. How you know. There we go. I want to spawn 5. And here's the other part that you want to put in here for multiple spawns like this. When you have a list, and you could put any zombies you want in here into this list, as long as you know their names in the game, and they will be part of the possible random things that spawn, so whatever you end up calling. And you want to do single choice. Okay, so single choice means it's going to randomly pick one of these zombies. So for example, Arlene. Single choice would be you get 5 Arlenes, if this is true. If it is false, you're going to get 5 random picks. It could be 2 Arlenes, it could be a lab zombie, it could be a Joe, and it could be a Marlene. Great. It could be a whole mess of different options. If you want them to, yes, it's going to be random zombie, but I'm going to get 5 of the same zombie, go for it. You can totally do that. And so then this would be true for you if you want them to be the exact same zombie. But I typically don't, so I'm going to put false. And then that gives me 5 random zombies, different from each other most of the time. Sometimes you get the same, but you know, it is what it is. It's just a random choice from this list. Twitchpad spawn, male zombie alert, fine, that's all good. So I'm going to keep that the same. And I would test these with the plugins again, and then go test it in game. But I know these ones work because I've done this one. Okay, So for this last one that I want to show you how to spawn in multiple different kinds of animals, like a spawn zoo of sorts. Now I have multiple of these kinds of things on my own server. I have spawn raining, which means cats and dogs. And I have spawn regular zoo. I've done different things before for different people, but anything is possible. If you want to have a combination of animals and people, do it. This is very, very easy to do. You just kind of need to continue down the list. So what you're going to do is kind of the Twitch XML part of this is very similar to what we've done before. It's really the game events that changes slightly. Okay, so I'm going to call this Twitch Zoo for my own sake, but you could call it whatever you want. Spawn Zoo is going to be the command. And the title is going to be Spawn Zoo for myself. It's under spawns. Okay, the event name is going to be called Spawn Zoo. Make sure that your event names are completely unique. If it's not, it will not work. You need to have separate ones for game events. Otherwise, it's going to just copy what happened before, and that's not what you're looking for. Start game stage. I wanted to start maybe game stage 50. Default cost. These are tough. Make sure they're hard, because if you've got a bear in there or cats, they are difficult. Dogs too. Okay, so what I want to have this do, the description is spawns a bunch of animals. Okay, cooldown. How long do you want the cooldown to be? 305 minutes, that seems fine. Cooldown blocked, waiting blocked, perfect. Okay, these are all good. Now, do I want this to be special only? You could totally add in the special only part like we did for Grace. Right now, I would say this is false, so you don't have to include it at all. If I type it in there, it's not a big deal. Property name. You could have this included for every single one of yours so that it's easy to like turn on special points if you want to. That's totally a choice. Best if you spell special correctly. Equals. And then, so right now I would have mine be false because I want everybody to do this. But if you make it true, then it will be special points only. All right, so this is one is ready to go to game events. So I would take one that we've done before and copy it and paste it. That's really the easiest thing, is to make sure you've got most things in there, and you just kind of make sure you check yourself. But I'm going to obviously call the sequence something different because it's something different. This is our spawn zoo. So what do I want it to do? Do I want it to do all of these zombies? I absolutely do not want it to make all of those zombies happen. So I'm going to delete that. And what do I want to spawn? Okay. So I don't want it to pick one of these like a random one, but you could set it to be random like that, right? You could set it up just like the spawn standard 5, and where it lists a bunch of animals and they get a random animal, right? Like that could totally be a thing you do. But I'm going to set it up like it always spawns the same kinds of animals, the same number of them every single time. But if you wanted to, you could totally take that and make it a thing if you want to do that. Just make sure you have the single choice part, the spawn count part, and you're good to go if you wanted to do that. So I want mine to have, let's see, I want the animal zombie dog. And then the part that you're going to want underneath this is the number of them. Property. And spawn count. So how many dogs do I want? 1, sure. All right, now here's the fun part. Just copy this, friends. Don't type all that out. That's how mistakes are made. Okay, all right, I want another animal. I want animal bear. Look at how easy that was, that we didn't have to type it out. Oh my god, so much easier. If you want 2 bears, you can just make that a 2, whatever you want. All right, I also want there to be a mountain lion. Okay, great. You can do however much of this as you want or don't want. All right, I want there to be a coyote. Let's see. I want there to also be a snake. And then a wolf. And then for my last animal, a lovely zombie vulture. Make sure capitals are in there. They do matter. Okay. And then play sound, Twitch bad spawn, that's fine. Now we don't want a male alert, right? You can kind of pick anything you want. Zombie dog alert. The bear alert, I think, is one. Bear alert, yeah. So you could make them do whatever sound effect you want that you already know exists in the game. Like if you heard the vulture alert, see, that's in there too. So whatever makes sense for whatever group of animals you're doing. Snake alert, right? I could do that. Wolf alert, because I have one of those. I don't think coyote has one. Lion, is mountain lion one? No, nope. Cat alert? Nope. So you could just go through and try to find what alert makes sense for you. I personally do the zombie dog alert, but it really doesn't matter. As long as it's going to indicate to you that animals are coming. That's really what you want. And then we should be all set. And you would test this out, make sure everything spawns in the way you want. I highly recommend doing this in a world where you've given yourself a gun or something so that you can make sure you can count all the animals that spawn rather than just die immediately. Or put yourself into God mode or something like that when you test these, just so that you know what has appeared. But that's how you do this one. Okay, so some key notes that have happened for A19, and I believe some of these are going to be fixed for A20, so they may change. But for right now, spawn screamer does not work. So what I mean by that is it will spawn the screamer zombie, but it will not have the effect of a screamer zombie, because the screamer zombie is just a skin on the zombie, basically. The effect is something different, and currently in A19 it is not able to be used. So if you use that one and it doesn't work, now you know why. It will be planned, I think, to be fixed for A20, as long as they can get it to be fixed, just because of the way that the spawn screamer works. But it hopefully will be fixed. You can do other buffs and things like that, but I'm not going into that in this video. Most people really want to be able to spawn groups of zombies, and so that's why I really wanted to get this video out as soon as possible, so people had it before A20, so they had something new to play with while they were waiting for A20. And I will be putting a whole bunch of different XML edits that I've made and tested into a Google Doc to share with you guys and put it in the link below. So go ahead and look at those things, as well as a list of different entity names. So like the names that I have on the screen, like animal bear, animal mountain lion, so you know exactly what to call them and how to spell them out. That way you're not trying to figure out what everything is called, because that's a little tricky too if you've never done those sorts of things. So I'm going to include a link for that as well. I hope that video was helpful in showing you a quick overview of how to make edits to the Twitch integration XML for 7 Days to Die to add your own zombie and animal spawns. I will be putting out future videos that go into more detail about adding more complex spawns and other edits to the XML you can do, but A20 might be out by then, so if so, I will be making videos to go along with the updates that they have made to the game and to the integration. Don't forget to subscribe so you can easily see when those videos go up. Consider leaving a like if you enjoyed this video, and comment down below other video ideas you would like to see, or if you have any questions I might be able to answer. Thanks again for watching.